Begin with a breaking news update. Unfortunately, what we are getting to know of those two people who have lost their lives in a pillar collapse that has been reported of a metro construction that was underway, and a pillar collapse has now claimed the lives of at least two people. The mother-son duo unfortunately losing their lives. Initially, what was being said of this accident being reported that two individuals had sustained injuries and thereafter they were shifted to a hospital. However, now two casualties have been reported. This is right there on the ring road, very busy road where this metro construction activity that was said to be underway, and the pillar collapse that has been reported, negligence or what on part of the authorities there, because this certainly talks about that not appropriate security measures, safety measures that were taken up. Let me straight away go across to Thoya, who's joining us live from the incident site itself. Thoya, what exactly happened? When did it happen? And if you can tell us about the sequence of events when the pillar collapse was reported.
Absolutely, I can tell you that, you can see right now I'm standing over here at the location where the pillar has been collapsed, and whereas you can see that right now they are taking the body to the post-mortem. Actually, I can tell you that the family, four people, like they were traveling on the bike when this incident happened. This incident happened here in Nagavara, this under construction metro pillar which has been collapsed. Whereas I can tell you that you can see that this is a stretch. This Nagavara metro construction is a stretch of Nagavara to Devnalli International, Bengaluru International Airport, and this was started in the year of 2021. And this incident happened while the work was going on today morning. I can tell you that whereas the work was still going on, and the pillar suddenly collapsed while the work was going on. And also I can tell you that the four people who were going on the bike, the mother, the woman and her husband and her two children. The woman was a techie in Manyata Tech Park, and while she was going to drop her husband and husband to the work and with children to the babysitting, while they were going, this pillar collapsed and it fell on them, and the mother and the one of her son passed away. They have declared death, and the father and the other son.
Stay on with us and keep picking up all those details coming in. Let me go across to
Mr. Tanveer Ahmed is with us on the broadcast. Mr. Ahmed, this is really unfortunate looking at the kind of incident that has been reported. Blame game unfortunately would happen here, but a mother-son duo have lost their lives.
It's a very, very sad incident, very sad incident. It is an accident, and which definitely shouldn't have happened. But I would say that Metro is a professional organization. The kind of construction which is happening in Metro, it is totally unprecedented, and me and my party would definitely not happen. I think the best person to answer this would be the commissioner of Metro, Mr. Anjum Parvez. He's a responsible officer.
And quite surprising and shocking, and questions must be asked. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for speaking to us. Mohandas Pai also joining us on the phone line. Sir, the first most question that is bound to be asked is the fact that this was an under construction metro pillar. Why is it that this area was not isolated? Any construction site is isolated, it's well marked.
No, I know. I think that is what is very tragic. There's a great tragedy. So the government should set up an inquiry committee, why it happened, who was negligent. And if there's anything negligent done by that company, safety standards have not been followed, they should be prosecuted. Because, accidents may happen. And if it happened despite taking all safety precautions and everything that is possible, then, it is an act of God. But if it happens because you've been negligent, you're not taken all precautions, then I think, the proper inquiry should happen and action should be taken, because somebody has lost their lives. I think safety is extremely important, especially when casting activities, when erection activities happen. And I think it's very sad to see what has happened, and it's very tragic.
But Mr. Pai, would it also raise questions on the construction material and what all that were being used to actually make that pillar a little more steady or not? Would that also be questioned?
Look, hundreds of pillars have been set up for metros all over the country. So we don't know what has happened, what has gone wrong. So we can't comment the material was less, the material was more. We can't comment anything till a proper inquiry is done. So government should set up a high-quality inquiry committee, get into details, look at the technical specification, testing. This can all be done in 48 hours. This can be done in 48 hours and assure the public that safety precautions will not be compromised in future. I think it's very important to do that, and that operator should compensate that family. Today, they should compensate that family and take proper precautions. What has happened has happened. What do we do?
Okay. Mr. Pai, certain reports also stating that the metro pillar was perhaps overloaded is why it fell on this bike. Would you also suspect into that being one of the major reasons?
Look, I really don't know. The accident has happened. The expert committee should go into all details, because whether it is overloaded, it lacks material, we don't know. So let us wait for that expert report to come. And but what is worrying is, have proper safety precautions been taken? How did a woman and child come into that area around that when work was going on? Was it properly cordoned off? Was there any laxity? This is what all of us want to know, because so many of us travel on the roads where work is going on, and all of us want to be reassured that proper safety precautions have been taken.
Absolutely, sir, because it could have been anyone. I mean, it's also a very, thickly congested area. We're talking about one of the main roads there where this construction activity that was under there. Mr. Mohandas Pai, thank you very much for your point of view. Imran, who exactly is responsible here now?
Fine. Now, it's very clearly where the metro pillar has collapsed, and the industry authorities are responsible for it. There have been complaints of several times that metro pillars have been construction of some said not to the quality what it is there, and the authorities have to answer as to what led to the collapse. Unfortunately, 2 lives have been lost there, and it's the responsibility of the agencies and the state government have to answer to the people as to what led to the collapse and why was that negligence was carried out. In fact, earlier too, several activists and even structural engineers had questioned some of the construction pillars and the quality of material used and the strength of it. And now what we're getting to know is that 2 people unfortunately have lost their lives, a mother and 2-year-old daughter. And now the question is on the authority to give an explanation as to what led to the collapse and who is responsible for it. Whether it's a structural engineer of the site is the responsibility. What was the oversee of the auditing team which was doing there, which didn't properly audit
Okay, I'll come back to you. Stay on with us, Imran. We have BMRC head Anjum Pravesh joining us on the phone line as well. What can you tell us, sir, about what's really transpired this morning? An under construction metro pillar has fallen on this bike on which a mother and son were also riding, and both of them have succumbed to their injuries.
Good afternoon. The incident happened in the morning, and this is an 8 pier work was going on. The reinforcement iron was being tied up before casting. So the casting was not completed, and we used 4 wires to tie the reinforcement so that there is no movement in the response in the reinforcement.
But Mr. Parvez, do you have information exactly how this collapse may have happened, sir?
Yeah, this is the first thing is that it is not a completed pillar. This is the reinforcement which collapsed.
Unfortunately, that's a bad audio connection, Mr. Parvez. We will just try to reconnect that line with you as soon as possible, because we really want to understand what may have led to this collapse. Because this is really unfortunate as far as the construction activities that have been going on, and we have seen even when it comes to busy and congested roads. We are talking about the Hennur area here. This is on the ring road, and you can see traffic which is free flowing on the area. It could have been anyone maybe who were driving a car, over a bus, over a truck. Unfortunately here, a mother-son duo who were on a bike were the victims of this collapse of the pillar that had been reported. We'll just try and reconnect as many reactions as possible that could happen. We have Neha as well with us on the phone line, because Neha, we were just trying to get in touch with the BMCR leader and the official there to talk about exactly what may have been the cause of this collapse, perhaps negligence, or what else could have happened.
Well, of course, that's something that will have to be probed now, and several questions being raised right now, on the carelessness or the negligence of the BMRC. And this isn't the first accident that we're seeing on a metro construction site. Earlier as well, about 2 years back, we saw how there was an incident where a portion of, the metro pillar, in fact, collapsed and fell on a rider's head, killing him on the spot. And, this is, of course, really quite shocking to say the least. And the authorities over there, be it the BMRC today or the government for that matter, would have to be answerable as to these two people who've lost their lives. It is, of course, quite unfortunate here that we're looking at a mother and a
Absolutely.
young son.
Very, very unfortunate. The mother and son were rushed to the hospital immediately thereafter, but have succumbed to their injuries. Brajesh Kalappa also joining us on the phone line. Sir, how do you make, what do you make of this situation? Very, very unfortunate. An under construction metro pillar fell on this bike on which the mother and son were also traveling, who have succumbed to their injuries now.
Terrible news, terrible news, terrible news. And in fact, the kind of infrastructure which the city has been seeing has been under severe pressure. And we have seen that in Karnataka, in Bengaluru, over 40 people have lost their lives owing to pothole deaths. And if infrastructure is crumbling and collapsing like this, then the citizens' lives are in serious danger. And I think it's time that the government pulled up its socks. And, first, I think, recently also there was a father and daughter. Both were killed because of the electric, blast. And this happened in Bengaluru city limits itself. Till date, nobody has been arrested. No compensation has been paid. And if this kind of apathy continues, I think it's very difficult that, to expect that there would be any kind of change. Like I said, over 40 deaths owing to potholes, and there's not a word of remorse from either the chief executive, which is the chief minister, or from anybody. So this kind of apathy, I think, is it's actually stunning. It gives room to feel that the government is run by people who have absolutely no conscience, no sensibilities, nor sense.
Mr. Kalappa, thank you very much for your point of view. We have opened up our call lines as well. The viewers who are watching the broadcast right now, you can also call in and you can also tell about your experience or even your opinion, exactly what you have to say when it comes to such kind of incidents that happen where the Aam Aadmi, the citizens there, lose their lives or become victims of such civic apathy. This is now we are talking about in the outer ring road area, where this morning, as the under construction activity that was going on for the metro work, one of the pillars there that collapsed on the ongoing traffic that was passing underneath it. Unfortunately, a mother and a son became victim of the pillar collapse, and they have now passed away. Initial details came in that they had suffered injuries and thereafter were shifted to a hospital. But more and so, if we are looking at increased activity, construction activity that is taking place, the usual protocol or the SOPs that are followed, Kritsveen, is when it comes to the closure of the roads, there are advisories that are already given and out to the public there so that they can take alternative routes, or that seems was not being done. We have Srivatsav with us from Bengaluru with us on the phone line. Srivatsav ji, what do you have to say, sir?
Yeah, it is extremely, extremely tragic, and I'm actually, my eyes are wet. Okay, so the mother and a son, because of no fault of theirs, a pillar falls on them and they die. Okay, the civic apathy, especially, is very, very bad in Bangalore. The only thing that we should do immediately is that file a criminal case against the engineers or the people responsible for it and arrest them without any delay. Second thing is announce a compensation of 50 crore rupees to these people, and it has to come from the BMRCL's account.
Okay. So highest of compensation, sir. Apart from that, of course, accountability must be fixed given the severity of this kind of an incident that's been allowed to unfold today in Bengaluru. Thank you for speaking to us, Mr. Srivatsav. We also have Anil Deshpande, who's calling us from Bengaluru. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Christine. Just I wanted to tell that this incident is very unfortunate. And second thing, they have to fix the responsibility. Whoever there, they should be taken into task. This is my honest opinion.
Oh, absolutely, sir, because that has been the call. Because how many victims? I mean, there have been killer potholes that we have been reporting. Now killer pillars are being now reported of how a mother-son duo lost their lives. They wouldn't have even thought of something like that might be happening to them that very day, that very moment. Unfortunately, this is how it worked on this accident that has been reported. Thank you very much, Mr. Deshpande. Requesting the viewers who are watching the broadcast to also call us in. Our phone lines are open and we'll take your point of view live on air. This is the killer pillar that we are talking about.